Hi cozy friends, hi cozy family. So today I'm doing the gamer tag. I'm so excited. My friend Victoria, also known as Vixtendo on Instagram and YouTube, we created this together. Mostly she did, but I helped a little bit. And her idea was that she hadn't really seen a gamer tag out there, so she wanted to create one, and I contributed some questions. So that's what we're gonna go over today. If you wanna see her video, check it out. It's amazing. She's the cutest. And so far, Tori Dreaming has also done one, who is also into gaming and has some book reviews and stuff on her account. So check her out too. Let's start. Let's answer these questions. So the first question is, what is your gamer tag, which also is like your username on different gaming platforms. Mine is just any variant of cozy games or cozy gamer, usually cozy games in some capacity. How long have you been gaming? Oh my gosh, since I was a tiny child. My family collected video game consoles, so I was playing the like OG NES Mario before I even formed memories. And I have a kind of history of my nostalgic games in this video, so check that out if you're curious. How did your gaming journey start? So I'll split this up between like childhood and adulthood. Childhood was just my family being really into games and our family friends being really into games and just constantly being surrounded by gaming and seeing it as kind of like this cool side hobby instead of like, I think when my generation was growing up, there was a lot of parents that were like, ooh, it's this terrible, dangerous, like violent thing. I think my family saw it more in a positive light of like something to do with your family. So I always had really positive associations with video games. Was introduced to the mechanisms of video games really early, which I think helped me get into games more as a like preteen, teen adult. So how did my adulthood journey begin? Because I did take quite a break between like my younger teen years playing Sims and stuff and my DS and where I'm at now. And that started when I was in law school and looking for something that was a good stress relief and a good coping mechanism. And I remembered how much I love video games and how much, especially in college, I played a lot of Sims and Stardew, how much it just helped me escape and feel like a sense of comfort. And so I picked it back up in law school and then got really into it really heavily. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm like full speed ahead, fully committed, will be for the rest of my life. My favorite thing to talk about and do. So that's my journey. What's the first game you remember playing? I think it's Mario. It's the NES Super Mario, like OG one. Amazing, great game, love it. What is your favorite console to play on and why? I would say the Switch, I think, is an amazing console. Now the Nintendo DS has, the Lite specifically, has so much nostalgia factor for me, but I would say the Switch has the most diversity in the type of games that I've ever really played in a concentrated period of time, because when I was younger I would play a huge variety of games, but it was kind of like spread out and it wasn't my own games. It was like I would play with family friends or something like that. Now I have my own Switch and I have my own copies of a huge variety of games, from like RPGs to simulation games to cooking games, you know what I mean? Like there's just such a huge variety and so many good games, and it's portable and fun and you can just snuggle up with it. Yeah, I love that Nintendo brings in a lot of games that aren't just pew pew. Now don't get me wrong, I love pew pew games too, but I think Nintendo does a really good job at the variety of games that they provide on the platform. And a little side note, I did recently get a gaming PC and that has changed my view forever of gaming and consoles and stuff, because that adds another level of immersiveness, especially if you have like a widescreen monitor and the graphics can be really good. There's just so many more games on PC and so many more options. It's like almost kind of moving up to a tie, but the portability of the Switch is like, you can't get that with anything else, you know? What would you call your gaming style? Cozy gaming. That's what we're all here for, isn't it? Cozy gaming for sure is my gaming style. I love all types of games. Like a lot of people would be like, I don't play cozy games, but I really like the idea of being a cozy gamer. And I'm like, that's what being a cozy gamer is just feeling comforted and cozy by playing video games, period. Like, yes, there are a specific genre of games that a lot of us do gravitate towards, but I think shooter games and whatever the hell else can also be cozy if like it puts you in that comforted mood and it de-stresses you and it recenters you. And if you do that by doing competitive shooting games, more power to you. But I personally don't like anything competitive. It raises my stress levels and I don't play games for that reason. So I like games that you can kind of lose yourself in and lose track of time, and do that either by like really hyper focusing on something. Like I think Stardew does that. You're hyper focusing on like, you know, getting that farm and like getting the community center completed and like upgraded and things like that, or just like fully immersed in this world where you just lose sense of reality and time, which is like Breath of the Wild, games like that, where it's just this open world game where you can just explore. So that's my style of gaming. Do you prefer long sessions or short? I prefer long sessions. I do. I think the de-evolution of our attention spans because of, you know, social media and stuff has made me prefer short bursts of things in every other aspect of my life. But gaming and like reading are the things that can actually hold my attention and like let me immerse in something for a long period of time. Because that's such a rarity, I treasure it and I cherish it, and I hope that never changes. What game haven't you tried yet but want to? I have a couple, and these are probably outside the realm of cozy games. Okay, number one, Red Dead Redemption. I want to try it so bad. I've seen a little bit of gameplay of it, and it just looks like something that's fun to, I don't know, it just looks fun, and like you're immersed in a world, but it's not competitive. It can be a little like anxiety inducing if you're like fighting people, but like generally it's story based, and I love that. Luxy Games has a hilarious playthrough of it. She streams it, and then she has some videos up on her YouTube, so check her out. But definitely Red Dead Redemption, and then The Witcher 3 and the like entire Assassin's Creed franchise. I would love to try those. They just seem like really immersive story-based games, and they have great reviews, so I would love to try it. For a cozier game, I would say Life is Strange and Wander Song. A friend of mine has been recommending Wander Song. I really want to try it, but still haven't gotten around to it yet. So Wander Song and Life is Strange. A lot of people in the cozy gaming community love Life is Strange, so I want to check that out too. Which unreleased game are you most excited for? 100% Coral Island. 100% Coral Island. No other game has my attention as much as Coral Island, besides maybe like a close follow-up would be Bunhouse. Bunhouse just looks so cute, but Coral Island, oh, the expectations are high. I talk about it in my Cozy Games I'm Excited For video if you want to check that out too. What game do you love that no one would expect? I feel like y'all expect anything from me at this point because I've expressed that I like a variety of games, but Grand Theft Auto, the entire franchise, will always hold such a special place in my heart because you can do like wholesome non-violent things in it, but then also the violent chaotic things are also kind of fun. So I love Grand Theft Auto. I love the freedom in it. It was the first game I played where it was like kind of open world, just like complete freedom to do whatever the hell you want, like no objective if you don't want to. It was so cool. So special place in my heart. I still sometimes play the newest Grand Theft Auto. The online part of that freaks me out though, because I don't know what they'd be doing on there. Favorite game to rage quit? I would say Mario Sunshine 100%. There's a lot of games that I rage quit, but often I don't. Like, I look back on it and I'm like, I don't think I actually enjoyed playing that. Mario Sunshine, it's nostalgic and I enjoy playing it. I just literally want to throw my controller at the screen or my Switch at the wall now that they have it on Switch. Favorite game to replay? Stardew, y'all know that. Y'all know I'm gonna say Stardew. I have so many restarted saves of Stardew because it's literally just my favorite game in the whole entire world, and I don't know what it is. It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. And not only could I just like do the restart over and over, like I can dig in deep to the save files that I've had for a while and just like go forever. Like the save files that I have will last me till I'm dead and gone. Like I will be playing them in a retirement home. You know what I mean? Do you snack and drink while gaming? Absolutely, absolutely. Y'all know I have to get my tea. So I always have tea or water or seltzer. And I also love like some fruit leathers or a bowl of fruit. Right now, my go-to is cherries because it's summer. I think that's about it. The next question is solo or co-op. This is hard for me. This is hard for me to answer. This is hard for me to answer because I love using gaming as like my way to recharge. I am an introvert, like through and through. When my social battery runs out and I need to go hide away under the covers and just recharge, gaming is the perfect way to do that for me. It's just like, it's me time. It's me time to do what I want and only what I want. And nobody can say, I want to do this, I want to do this. No, it's my time. It's my sacred time. And I love it. And it just feels like such a monumental act of self-care and just like the perfect act of self-care every time I do it. But I get so, like, my favorite activity to do with friends is play games. One of my favorite things is like introducing a game to a friend and we have that moment to like bond over that game, or they're like, whoa, I didn't realize video games were this fun. And I'm like, yeah, they are, aren't they? You should buy a Switch and we could play together all the time. That's my favorite thing. I love doing that. I love bringing people to the dark side, or the cozy side rather. I think I'll say solo because I wouldn't be as into games if I only had co-op. I would be if I didn't have co-op. Does that make sense? I'll go with solo, but I'll be sad about it because I love a good co-op moment. Favorite genre to play, I think hands down simulation games, 100%. Like a farming sim or just like something like The Sims. Something where you're simulating real life in some way, but there's an element of unrealisticness or like the absurd in it. To me, the current Sims almost is a little too realistic. It's almost too just like life simmy, versus Sims 2 had that element of the absurd just central to like every aspect of it. I think that was a little bit more fun for me, and I love how Stardew has like the kind of forest magical elements and the wizard and the mines with the monsters. I think having those little quirks make a simulation game all the more exciting because you don't really know what to expect. However, I will say the game Lake that is coming out, I've talked about it so much on all my platforms, but the game Lake that's coming out where you start a new life in a small town as a male person sounds like my dream game. And somebody commented on it like, I really want the ability to be able to shop at grocery stores, and I'm like, I would kill for a game where you can just like walk around a small town and shop at different stores and have your choice of which grocery store you shop at, or like reimagining of like a city that like everybody knows, and like there's a Trader Joe's and a Kroger's and I'm trying to think of what I went to in London, like a Sainsbury or a Tesco. Like whatever it is you go to, you have the option and you can just walk around or go into your local coffee shop and order coffee. It's kind of like first person. The way that I would suspend my entire life trajectory just to sit down and play that game for like an entire month. Somebody please, a game developer, please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. And then like fall, you can make it fall and like decorate the town. Stars Hollow. I don't know where this is going. Basically, do I want somebody to remake Stars Hollow but like with a Trader Joe's and you can just walk around and exist in life? Maybe it's like a side task of like managing the inn. Yes, that's what I want. That's it. Thank you. My least favorite genre to play, I think, is platformers. And I have so many people recommend to me like Ori or Hollow Knight. And I'm not a fan of platformers, you know. I don't mind the platformer mechanic like Night in the Woods or Spiritfarer where you're kind of moving around like a platformer. But I don't really like the linearness of platformer, or like kind of the lack of freedom in what you choose to do. And like puzzles in general, since it's working my mind a little bit too much. I already have too many puzzles to figure out in school that I don't necessarily gravitate towards those, except in the instance of like Breath of the Wild or something where it's like a little side thing that you do within the main game. They're cute and I understand them, and like just not my favorite, Late night or daytime game playing, I would say like an all-day extravaganza. Some of my favorite personal days, like, you know those days you look back on and you're like, man, that was a good day. Not days where it's like a special event, or like, you know, if someone's like, what's the best day in your life? Not that, just like a day you look back on and you're like, damn, I wish most of my days could be like that. Most of those days for me are days where I've just had the entire day to just sit down and play whatever game that I'm like currently really into at the moment for the entire day. Just get up to eat, sit back down, get under your cozy blanket, put on a podcast, and just play the game for the whole day. So I would say daytime so that you can start early. Yeah, the whole day. Can I answer it that way? What console and game holds a special place in your heart? So console, DS Lite, I think. That's hard actually. No, I think the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 holds a nostalgic place in my heart because it had the first 3D freedom in where you're going games. So like Donkey Kong 64 and Mario 64. Yeah, that was like a magical moment for me, is realizing that you could do that in video games. So I would say the Nintendo 64, and like my teen video game awakening was the DS Lite because it was the first console I had of my own and I could play whatever I wanted on it. And it was, the freedom of that was so cool. And game, Stardew Valley. You already know. I'll give a different one. This is a weird one, but Super Monkey Ball, I think because my family and I played it together so often, or like it felt like we did. That was just a really cool bonding experience, and like we basically like memorized the levels because we played it so often. And yeah, it was just like, that's just a nostalgic, like good memory for me. And when they announced that a new one was coming out, I was so excited, but I'm hesitant because the last one wasn't that great. So I hope the new one, fingers crossed, is more like the classic. What does gaming mean to you? I kind of touched on this, but gaming is my escape, it's my release, it's my meditative time, it's my comfort time, it's my recharging time, and it's also just my pure fun, actual passion and interest fulfillment time. I think it's also, for a lot of people, just like a really special way to give a little gift to yourself of whimsy and fun in a world that is stressful and complicated, maybe not feeling like we have direction or even understanding of what we want to do in life, and we feel like we're being pushed a certain way or told to do a certain thing. And I think gaming is the ultimate release and escape from that. It allows us choice, and it allows us freedom, and it allows us to be what you want to be in that moment, or focus on what you want to focus on in that moment, or just completely shut your brain off and not think about anything but the game and just like lose yourself in the game. I think a lot of the time we discount the importance of just having moments of comfort and coziness, and it's not until you intentionally include those moments in your life daily that you realize how important it is. Yeah, I think sometimes we can lose that. And feel like, I think some people might feel like guilty playing games because, you know, maybe they're like, I should be socializing, or I should be like spending time on extra work or whatever, but do what feels right to you. Do what feels right to you. It's okay to prioritize something that brings you the utmost joy in your life. And I think games have a unique power to do that in a healthy way. That was a long-winded answer, but it was an important question. If you could tell someone who doesn't game one thing to convince them to start, what would it be? One thing, oh my gosh. Well, just take that answer from before and apply it to this question, but then also there's a game out there for everybody. Gaming is not a monolithic thing. There's literally a game for everybody. If you like puzzles, if you like to have mental stimulation, there's both puzzle, like specifically puzzle specific games. There's platformers where you kind of have to puzzle through how to get through something. And then there's games where there's puzzles within a greater storyline. If you like reading books and you like immersing into a story, there's really heavily story-based games like Night in the Woods, where the focus is on the story and kind of the feelings you have throughout experiencing that character's story. If you like mysteries and murder mysteries and true crime, there's a bunch of mystery games. If you like being competitive and that brings you joy, there's shooter games and competitive cute games like Fall Guys. There's just a game for everybody. And if you are new to the gaming world, which I do get a lot of people, especially on TikTok, that are like, I don't know why I'm being showed your content, but I think I might want to get into gaming. And I'm like, I don't either, but I'm so glad you are. I implore you to explore the idea of gaming because it will significantly improve your quality of life and your happiness and fulfillment, and it will just add a fun hobby that you can pick up and put down at any point when you're feeling stressed or just when you want to have some fun. There's a game for you out there. That's all I would say. And that is everything. Thank you so much for watching this. If you'd love to do this tag, please feel free. I would love to hear more people's experiences with gaming. If you don't have a YouTube, this might be your sign. Start a YouTube, make this your first video. Again, thank you so much for watching. I love you, stay cozy.